have a little yarn haul. It's actually not little, it's kind of big, so I thought it would be fun for me to obviously share the yarn that I have purchased and what I intend to use it for. I have some really fun projects planned and I'm very excited for them, so I wanted to kind of share my plans, and then I will also be vlogging the process of both of these projects that I have in mind. So if that interests you and you want to see what I make with this beautiful yarn, then please do subscribe to my channel and then you'll be able to see what I make. Also, hello, if you don't know me, my name is Rajan, or Not Half Bad Crochet. I am a part-time crochet pattern designer and content creator. If you want to check out any of my own patterns, you can find them always listed in the description, and you can also find me on TikTok and on Instagram. If you do enjoy crochet content like project vlogs, cozy crochet day vlogs, maybe some behind the scenes of a pattern design, and then please do subscribe to my channel. Alright, let's get into it. So the first yarn haul I have, I actually ordered from two different places. The first one I ordered from is from the We Yarn Company, and I have followed them on Instagram for, I'd say, probably coming up to like maybe a year now, quite a long time, and I love their yarn, but I also love their branding and their company. So the We Yarn Company are based in the Netherlands, and the person who owns it is Scottish, hence the We Yarn Company, which I think is very cute, and their yarn is just beautiful. They have like loads and loads of different yarn bases, but they're all really interesting like sheep and wool blends, and all of their blends are like really interesting fibers, some that I've like never heard of myself. They have one that is exclusive to them as well, which I believe is the one that I've got. I've wanted to purchase from them for a really long time, obviously because it is natural fiber. They are an indie yarn dyer. They are a little bit more on the pricey side compared to like, you know, commercial yarn, so I did have to kind of like wait a little while and save up, and I did have a specific project in mind for what I wanted to purchase from them. So this is the yarn that I ended up picking up. It is their Morag DK, which I believe is their kind of like own blend, so I don't think it's a blend or a yarn fiber that other brands can carry, and it is 60% blue face Leicester wool and 40% Hebridean. I'll put it up on the screen because I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. These are 100-gram hanks and they are 240 meters, and I got two colors. This one is called Flaxen, which is a really beautiful and very interesting color. It's like a mossy grassy green, but it's also got like gold tones to it as well. It's a really interesting colorway, and I love this kind of shade of green. I think it suits me really nicely. It suits my skin tone really well because it's kind of got like a warm tone to it. It's a very interesting looking color, and it's got like, you can kind of see like, yeah, like the golden brownish sort of tan tones to it. It's absolutely beautiful, and I really love the color. So for the project that I'm intending it for, this is going to be like the main color, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hanks of this, so 600 grams, 6 times 240 meters. How much is that? I don't know. Yeah, this is going to be like the base of my project. And then for the kind of accent color, I got this color, which is called Azure, and this is like a really beautiful like cobalt blue. It's kind of really dark and deep. It's like a rich sapphire. I absolutely love this color. It's so nice, and I think both of them together look absolutely stunning. Like, I love this color combination so much, and I really, as much as I like don't think I wear blue that much, I really gravitate towards this shade of blue and this shade of green, so I'm really looking forward to kind of like making a project with the both of them together. I did only pick up one hank of this because I am in September going to go and see My Hero Academia in concert. My Hero Academia is my favorite anime. It is the anime that got me into anime, and I love it so much. I understand that within the anime community, apparently like the fandom are really weird and like annoying, and that's what kind of puts people off from watching it. I'm like a 34-year-old grown adult, so like I have never really kind of encountered the fandom, so I don't know what is wrong with the fandom, and I personally don't see that or experience it, so I don't know what everyone's talking about when they talk about the fandom being weird. It's only kind of like what other people have told me, but I've never seen it or experienced it with my own eyes, you know? I love the anime. I think it's so great. It has some of the best character development. It's got some amazing characters in general. It's just such a beautiful show. I love the music, and so yeah, me and my partner are going to go see it in concert, where they are basically, you know, the orchestra are playing the songs from the anime, and it is my birthday gift that my partner got me for my birthday this year, so I'm very much looking forward to it. And I have had this idea for ages, but it's kind of like, you know, serendipitous, is that a word? timing, because I am obviously going to see them in concert, like the orchestra. So I have wanted to crochet myself the UA high school logo onto a sweater, and so I will be doing that hopefully in time for me to go and see the musical performance, basically. So it's just going to be a full sweater with the UA logo on the front, nothing too crazy. Like for me personally, when it comes to like merch, especially stuff that I am making myself, I do want it to be more on the simpler side. I do love a, like, if you know merch. Like, don't get me wrong, I love a graphic t-shirt, I love a character on a t-shirt, that sort of thing, but sometimes I do love a merch that's a little bit more subtle, because if a regular person would see my sweater, they wouldn't know what UA is, but if somebody who has watched My Hero Academia has seen my sweater, they will be familiar with what it is. So I love that kind of merch. And my first ever tapestry crochet project was actually another school emblem. It was the Uzma Kappa logo from Monsters University. So I kind of love the fact that I'm doing like another school logo. I think that's going to be really fun. And so yeah, like I said, the main color is going to be this flaxen shade, and then the UA logo is going to be azure. So I think these colors are going to look really nice together. The contrast is going to be really good too, so I'll be able to actually like see the logo properly. I reckon I will have some of this left over, so I might like incorporate this into the rest of the sweater, maybe like in the sleeves as like little stripes, or maybe like on the cuffs or something like that. Like I'll find a way to kind of like use this yarn for the rest of the sweater. So yeah, that's what I will be making with this really gorgeous yarn. And I just want to talk about the yarn blend, like the fiber blend, just for a sec, because I have personally never worked with either of these sheep wool blends, but I have heard people talk about Blueface Leicester wool, which is the majority of this yarn blend, and it's a really interesting fiber. Like if I kind of show you up close, it's kind of like, it's not as like soft and smooth as a lot of like wool fibers that I've used before. It's almost got a like slight roughness and a coarseness to it, which I really don't mind, because I know that it's going to keep me warm, and I probably will wear like maybe a tank top or something underneath it anyway. But I am really intrigued by this. It's also got like a really slight kind of, not a, I won't go as far as saying it's a halo, but there is a slight element of fuzz to it. And so I have personally never heard of Hebridean sheep or their wool before, so I looked it up. And also as well, on the website where it has this yarn, like this wool blend, they do give you a little bit more information about the blends, which I think is really cool. So you kind of know a little bit more about like the actual wool and the sheep and the breeds and stuff, and also like where it's coming from, which I think is a really nice aspect, especially if you like care about where your wool is coming from and the animals that it's coming from. So yeah, what I kind of read up on Hebridean wool is that it comes from a rare ancient sheep which is native to Scotland, which I think is very cool. It's known for its very dark, almost like chocolate brown, jet black wool, which I think is another really cool aspect, because that's something that was mentioned on the website, is that the color, I believe, probably takes differently because the base yarn isn't white or cream, or it's not like a light color. The sheep is actually black essentially, or near enough black. So I think that's why on both of these colors it's such a rich and deep shade, and it's so dark and almost like jewel toned sort of thing. So I'd be really intrigued to see what the yarn base looks like before it's dyed up, because I can imagine it's probably quite dark, even though it's only 40% Hebridean. I think that would be really interesting to see. So yeah, I think that's like a really interesting aspect of this yarn. It's known to have like a coarse but resilient texture, which is obviously going to be very good for winter. It gets very cold in England, bitterly cold, so I think this is going to be great for the actual winter season and keeping me warm. So also what I've read up on it as well is that it's like a double layered fleece, which I don't really know how that works. I presume it's like, obviously for the actual sheep itself, is to keep them warm, especially if they're based in Scotland where it also gets very cold. So I think that's a really cool aspect of it. I'm very much looking forward to using it and wearing it, because I know it's going to keep me very warm and very cozy. Like, it's built for colder climates, which I think in England in the winter time it absolutely does reach a very bitterly cold sort of weather. And then combined with the Blueface Leicester wool, which has like I think it's like considered to be a softer wool as well, which I think like pairs nicely with this almost like rougher, tougher sort of fleece. So yeah, I think this is a really great blend, and I'm really looking forward to putting it towards this project. I think it's going to look so fun. And like I mentioned, if you are interested in seeing me crochet this My Hero Academia sweater, then be sure to subscribe to my channel, because I do vlog all of my projects. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really hoping I have enough time to crochet it, because I'm kind of in the middle of another project at the moment, and then this is going to be my next project. Also, I want to talk about the way it was packaged packaged as well. So it came beautifully packaged in a like recycled kind of brown bag, and then it was wrapped in this really stunning tissue paper. Came with a little thank you note and like their business card, and also came with 2 tea bags, which I don't know what they are because they are in Dutch and I don't speak or understand Dutch, so I'll have to Google translate it to make sure I know what I'm drinking. But yeah, I thought it was like a really nice touch. I love getting orders from like small businesses and indie dyes and stuff, because you know that it's kind of packed with love, and like every skein is kind of handled really beautifully. And yeah, I had a really great experience shopping with them. I will say though, obviously the yarn is, like I said, a little bit more pricey because it's like a more premium fiber, it's hand dyed, it's from an indie dyer, a small business, so it is priced accordingly. So it's definitely not on the cheap side. This was absolutely a splurge for me. Probably not something that I will be doing very often because it did cost a lot of money. And like I said, I got a total of 7 hanks, so 700 grams. So I think every hank was around like 25 euros or something like that. Shipping was a little bit pricey. Like I said, they are based in the Netherlands. I think it was around like 10 to 15 euros for shipping. And then I also did get a customs charge when it arrived, which was around £30, which I do think is very expensive for the customs charge. It's kind of annoying. I mean, I did not vote for Brexit, so I didn't want this, but yeah, I did get a customs charge. It was like £8 just for the handling charge, and the other was just like an admin charge, which is kind of very annoying because it's like, how did we get to 30 something pounds? Definitely not a willy-nilly purchase, something that I definitely saved up for and I specifically had the intention to buy. Also as well, I gotta shout out the owner of the We Yarn company. Personally for me, I think it's very important to know where my money is going and the kind of companies of where my money is going, and the owner of the We Yarn company is very staunchly anti-AI, they are anti-transphobic, they are anti-racist, they are anti-ableist, like they are a very cool person. And I think for me personally, like my morals and my values definitely align with the owner, which is something that I find very important because I don't want to be giving my money to people who don't have the same values as me. So I think that's like something that I hold very dear, and I think it's important for me personally. So if that's something that's also important to you, then definitely check out their site and their Instagram and stuff. They post a lot of regular updates on their Instagram, so that is probably the best way to kind of get the information you need. Also as well, I'm really unsure on what yarn base to go for. I don't know what colors to go for. Obviously, like colors on the pictures on the website can always look a little bit different. So I was initially looking at a different yarn base, which was it was like more of a lace weight or a sport weight yarn. I was looking at some of the colors that they had, but I wasn't sure about like the contrast, because obviously I need the contrast for the logo. And so I did message them on Instagram just to kind of say like, do you think that these colors would work? Obviously, like you kind of know your yarn best and you know the colors, and very luckily they were actually in the studio, so they took a picture of the yarns that I was kind of referencing side by side and, you know, advised me on which ones they think would be best. I did end up going completely rogue from what I kind of talked to them about, but I thought it was just really lovely of them to get back to me, and they got back to me really quickly as well, which I wasn't expecting, and they were just very helpful in the process of me actually like ordering from them. So yeah, that's like another lovely added touch which I think you just really don't get from, you know, larger corporations or bigger businesses. So for me personally, whilst this was a pretty expensive purchase for me, very much a splurge, very much something I don't do regularly or won't be doing regularly, I am okay with the amount of money that I spent on this yarn because I know that it's going to a good place, and I know that I was treated well as a customer, which is, I think, very important. So yeah, that is the first part of this haul, the yarn that I got from the We Yarn company, and that is what I will be making with it. So the next bag of yarn that I got is from the Wool Warehouse. You may recognize their kind of very well-known organza bags, which is what they package all of their yarn in. The Wool Warehouse is more of a kind of like commercial yarn store. They typically stock yarn from like other suppliers. It's not like an indie dyer or an indie yarn store or anything like that. I personally have ordered from them twice, 3 times I think now, and their customer service is great. They ship super fast. They pretty much have always the yarn that I need in stock and in the colors that I need in stock. Very rarely, or I think have I wanted a color or looked for a color or a specific yarn and they haven't had it in stock in the amount that I need, which is usually like a tops quantity, a sweaters quantity. So yeah, really good customer service from Wool Warehouse. They also come in these organza bags, which I think is great. You can opt out of the organza bag, but I personally like having them because I use them as like project bags and like putting like one colorway of yarn into one bag. So I personally like having them. It's good to have on hand. So yeah, let me show you what I actually got, and then I'll share what project I'm planning on doing. So I picked up a total of 4 different colours. Was it 4? Oh no, 3. So I picked up a total of 3 different colours, and I am planning my Halloween project of 2026. So if you are new to my channel or you are not familiar with any of my other projects, I am a spooky babe. I love Halloween. I love it so much. I love the autumn time. I love that time of year where the weather cools down. We're officially out of summer. Spooky season. I love horror movies. I love spooky stuff. I love witchy stuff. I love all things to do with Halloween and that time of year. So it's my favorite season. I am a spooky babe. I do very much enjoy Halloween as well as an actual holiday, and yeah, it's one of my favorite times of year. And so for the past 2 years I have crocheted myself a Halloween crochet project. The first time I did a like patchwork sweater, which I actually did a crochet along for on TikTok, so I will link the playlist to the crochet along if you do want to crochet your own spooky patchwork sweater. The second one I did a tapestry project, which was last year, and that was a really fun cardigan where on each panel I had like something different going on. I will put up pictures of both of these projects so you can kind of see what they look like. On the cardigan there was like a ghost with a party hat and a balloon. There was like a jack-o'-lantern in a jack-in-the-box sort of thing. The back had a massive haunted house, and then the sleeves had these really fun stars. So I had a really fun time doing both of these projects, and I kind of love it as like a tradition. I love doing something new every year. Last year, as soon as I finished my cardigan, I was like, I know exactly what I want to do for this year, and I have had this project in mind for such a long time. And if you saw my video way back when at the beginning of the year where I kind of talked about everything that I want to crochet for this year, you will know that that is how long, even before that, I have had this project in my mind. I didn't mention what I was going to do there because I kind of wanted to keep it a surprise. I'm kind of not sure if I will mention it in this video, but who knows if I will spill. But let me actually share the yarn that I will be working with for this project. So I will be working with Drops Alpaca, which is a yarn that I've used several times. I've used it for my waffling on cardigan, and then used it for a pattern test for the woven diamond sweater. And I picked up 3 colours recently, but I did actually get 2 other colours towards the beginning of the year because I knew I wanted to use it for my Halloween project, and I think I was like financially in a place where I was like, I can pick up a little bit of this yarn, so it kind of like spreads the cost out throughout the year and it's not just like one big purchase. So let me share the colors that I got. This first one is color 4400, which is called dark purple, very easy to remember, and it is literally a really nice dark purple. It's quite hard to kind of pick up on camera, but it's just a kind of aubergine, very dark purple, really beautiful shade. I really love this color. I think I look really good in this color as well. With all of the colors that I've got 4 skeins of each. Each skein is 50 grams, so I've got 200 grams of each color, and I have in total for my whole project, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 colors. So I definitely have more than enough yarn to crochet this project. I got more than enough yarn because I don't want to be pissing around with not having enough color or being worried about yarn chicken or, you know, running out. I don't want to have to worry about it. So I did overbuy for that exact reason, and anything left over, you know me, I love a scrappy project. I'm sure I will put it to good use, but I just didn't want to be running out. So I did get you know, more than I definitely needed. The next color I got is color 9045, and it is called Ruby Wine, which again is very, very accurate. It's just a really beautiful ruby wine color. It's kind of like a magenta sort of shade. It's got like a pink undertone to it, but it's got this like redness, very wine shade. It's kind of like a deep, deep magenta, like very jewel toned color. Absolutely gorgeous. Again, I got 4 skeins of this, 4 50-gram skeins. Okay, and then the final color I got in this order is 7323, and it's called Sea Fog. So this is a really interesting color. It's kind of like a light blue, but it has, I don't know if you can really see, but it has these kind of like flecks of almost like a yellowy toned green, and it's really interesting. It's kind of like a mix between green and blue. I think Sea Fog is actually like a really accurate color because it does kind of look like the sea, but like, you know, when like a wave crashes on shore and it kind of like has this white tone to it, that's almost what it looks like. It's a really interesting color, really interesting blend, and yeah, I'm looking forward to working with this. These are the 3 that I picked up in this haul, but let me show you the other 2 colors that I got that will be going with this really fun color palette. So the other one I got is color 2916, and this is a really beautiful like limey kind of chartreuse green, which I really love. I'm really kind of drawn to this shade of green at the moment. I think it's so gorgeous. And then the final color I have I've got is color 607, which is this really nice kind of like muted brown. It's kind of like a mousy brown. It's got like these little flecks through it as well, almost like a heather sort of look to the yarn. And so this is going to be my color palette for my Halloween sweater of 2026, and I think this is absolutely beautiful. I'm really looking forward to using these colors. Pretty like interesting color combination. Like, I don't think this is your classic color combo. Also, this fiber is alpaca. It is 100% alpaca, and it's a 4-ply yarn. So I typically use a like 2mm or maybe a 3mm hook with this. When I did my woven diamond sweater, I used a 2mm hook. That was partly because it was a size graded pattern and I did have to meet gauge. But with my waffling on cardigan, I believe I used a 3mm. So it's kind of like, you can kind of go between a 2 and a 3, basically, anywhere in between that. So yeah, I've used this yarn before. Alpaca is super warm, it's very snuggly, it blocks absolutely beautifully as well. I think that's like one of my favorite things about this yarn. So what I am planning on making is basically a kind of like Fair Isle sweater. I say Fair Isle very loosely because I know that Fair Isle has like a lot of Scottish traditions to it. I think mainly is that it's knitting. I think there's like steeking involved. There's lots of attributes to Fair Isle that like I will not be doing, but in terms of the look of it, in terms of like, you know, the patterning of it, that's kind of the vibe that I'm going for. But I will be doing crochet, so I'm really looking forward to this. It's obviously going to be Halloween themed. It's going to have some spooky elements. It's going to look really fun, especially in these colors. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to crocheting it. It's a really fun color palette, and I think like with the kind of Fair Isle vibes, it will look really good. I was a little bit worried about like the contrast of these colors, because I think with Fair Isle you do kind of need like a decent amount of contrast because the colors are spread out so much throughout the sweater. And so what I basically did is that I took screenshots of each of the kind of like color on the website, and then I turned them all black and white and put them side by side just to kind of make sure that I had like enough contrast between them. I think the only ones that I might struggle with is the ruby wine and the dark purple. Those two I think are like not contrasting enough, but I think between the lime, the brown, and the kind of sea fog, I think it will be absolutely fine, and I'll be able to kind of like create a design where those two colors aren't kind of like together and I won't be having any contrasting issues. So that was kind of my tip and my trick of making sure that I had enough contrast between the colors, because where I had obviously purchased the green and the brown separately, I was kind of like going off of what I already had, but then what I wanted, but then also colors that I liked together and ones that I'd wear together. So it was like a bit of a process trying to find all of the colors for this sweater, but I think I did a good job. This is a really interesting and unique color palette, but definitely something that is wearable for me still, something that I enjoy the colors, and definitely something that I will wear, especially in a fun spooky design. So I will be partaking in Vlogoween this year. I did do Vlogoween last year, where if you are familiar with like Vlogmas, where people will vlog either every day, every week, you know, quite regularly throughout the month of December in the lead up to Christmas. Vlogoween is basically the Halloween version. I personally have not seen anyone else do Vlogoween, or at least like when I was looking up on YouTube if people do Vlogoween, it was from like many years ago, maybe like 10 years ago. So if you enjoy Vlogmas but you maybe want a spooky version, then you know, subscribe to my channel, because I will be doing another version of it this year. Last year I went kind of crazy. I did 31 vlogs. I did one vlog each day. Part of those vlogs was my Halloween sweater, but I definitely did lots of vlogs which weren't crochet related. It was kind of like my trips abroad, it was like I was going to the theatre, that sort of thing. So if that interests you, I do have a whole playlist for my Vlogoween series last year, and you can catch up on all those vlogs. I personally don't think they did the best, probably because I wasn't talking about crochet, but that's okay. So this year I will not be losing my mind and doing 31 vlogs. I will just be doing one vlog per week, which is basically how I do my like posting schedule at the moment, but they will be more Halloween spooky season focused, and obviously as well one of them will be me crocheting my Halloween sweater. So if you enjoy Vlogmas but you want a spooky version, then you should definitely check out my Vlogoween series, and you know, stick around because I've got some fun things planned, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. With both of these projects, they are both very ambitious, and I do have almost like deadlines for them as well. Like obviously with the My Hero Academia one, I want to be able to wear it to the kind of music performance with the Halloween one. I want to wear it for Halloween. It is currently August, so I do need to get a wriggle on because, like I said, I am currently in the middle of another project as well. Hopefully I will be able to get them done in time, but you know, if you want to find out if I do, you need to stick around and subscribe to my channel. And if you are familiar with my channel at all, you know that I'm very much on a stash busting mission. I haven't really bought that much yarn this year, and I don't really want to buy that much yarn this year unless it's like for specific intended projects. But something for me personally is that I'm trying to just be a little bit more mindful of not only my consumption of yarn and how much I'm purchasing, but also like the yarn fibers. I did at the beginning of my kind of crochet journey purchase a lot of acrylic yarn, which is absolutely fine. I still love acrylic, I still use acrylic, I will still use acrylic, but in terms of what I'm buying and bringing in, I don't think I want to reach for acrylic as much. I definitely want to focus more on fibers that will keep me warm, that will last a lot longer, stuff that is from indie yarn dyers. Like for me personally, I don't mind the fact that I've only really like purchased like once or twice throughout this year, because that means the money I've essentially saved, I can then splurge a little bit on yarn fibers like from the Wee Yarn Company and other small indie dyers, because that is my preference when it comes to buying yarn now. You know, I think my preference has changed over the few years that I've been crocheting, so I am looking forward to kind of bringing in some more fun and funky fibers, looking at more indie yarn dyers and supporting smaller businesses, and just being a little bit more mindful about like how I spend my money and where I'm spending my money as well. Like I said, it's important to me to know where my hard-earned cash is going, particularly the kind of morals and ethics and values of some of the businesses, especially the big ones that I'm buying from. So yeah, that's something that's just important to me, and if it is to you, then maybe like check out the Wee Yarn Company, check out some other indie dyers and stuff. And yeah, I cannot wait to get these projects on my hooks. I will link the Wool Warehouse and the Wee Yarn Company down below, so if you want to check out either of their websites, you can do so. Definitely give the Wee Yarn Company a follow on Instagram, because like I said, that's where they kind of post most of their updates and you'll see most of their yarn fibers and colorways and stuff. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. Did you enjoy these colors? What was your favorite? Let me know your favorite indie yarn dyers as well. And of course, subscribe to my channel if you want to see any of my projects that I plan to do in the future. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll hopefully catch you on the next one.